everyone, this is Kristen with the Codex Station with another Codex review. And today this is going to be part two of three for Labyrinth Coronation. So if you haven't watched part one yet, stop what you're doing, go ahead and watch that, and then come again and join me for this one. I just want you to miss out on anything. So just to give a little quick recap here, this is based off of the movie Labyrinth by Jim Henson with characters by Brian Froud. Now, the story that's the main story takes place a couple centuries before the movie, but is told in tandem to a young Toby while the events of the movie are happening. So we're going to get a lot of parallels going on there. And because of that, there's going to be some spoiler warnings for the comic as well as the movie. I'm going to keep it as spoilerific, less spoilerific as possible, but unfortunately, it's just going to go ahead and happen. As stated in the previous episode, you do not need to have seen the movie Labyrinth to still enjoy this story. So don't think that you have to go ahead and go, okay, now I got to go watch a 1986 David Bowie movie, and then I got to come back to these comics. No, you can go ahead and enjoy these, and then maybe go watch the movie if you want to. I do recommend it. So before we get into the nitty gritty, let's talk about who did this one. There are a couple changes from our last one, so we want to make sure we give everybody their due. Coronation, Labyrinth Coronation, Volume 2 was written by Simon Spurrier, illustrated by Daniel Bayliss and Irene Flores, lettered by Jim Campbell, and colored by Dan Jackson and Joanne Lafuente. Excuse me, frog in my throat. Joanne Lafuente. Now, in my last episode, I kept referring to our heroine as the heroine because I completely blanked on her name. Just know her name is Maria, so I'll be calling her Maria from now on. Sorry about that. No idea why I blanked on her name, but it just did not come to me. I also forgot to mention one other main character that we saw, and this was Sir Scubin. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the other main characters that we're going to meet in this volume as well, and kind of tell you about the parallel they have to the movie that a lot of us love, because I find this very, very interesting. So in the first issue, or the first volume, I should say, for these trade paperbacks, we are introduced to Sir Scubin. He is parallel to Hoggle. He is the coward and the main companion. He is a goblin knight. Hoggle was the goblin gardener for the labyrinth. Both are cowards, but want to be braver. Then we have Tangle, the sentient rosebush. The one that I said, I am Groot, but she is Tangle. Tangle, the sentient rosebush. That is our parallel to Ludo, the friendly giant, the friendly monster, the one that our heroine, Maria, can befriend really easily, just like Sarah did in the movie with Ludo. And we're going to be introduced to another character, Sybil the Worm. Yes, the worm, only she's pink. Sybil is our parallel to Sir Didymus, the brave, brave warrior, the brave knight, but no basis for their bravery at the moment. So a lot of parallels here, and I have to say that those three characters are very, very effective. I do like all three of them. We get a little bit of their backstory, we get a little bit of their personality, their characteristics. So we get their growth, and they keep growing throughout all of these issues. Haven't gotten to volume 3 yet, but at least through volume 1 and through volume 2, you see great character growth. And I think that's very, very important because, as I said in volume 1, we don't have any character growth for Maria. We don't have any character growth for our main heroine. She's just a little, she's there. So we are left with these types of characters carrying around the whole entire story. That's my main con still. They are carrying around the whole story. Now we also get a look at our main villain here. Well, Kristen, wouldn't the main villain just be the Goblin King? Yes, it would. But Jareth wasn't the Goblin King 300 years ago. So instead, we have a villain that is the Owl King. He is still the Goblin King. Now, this to me seems to be a throwback to the fan theory that in the movie, when Jareth is starting to lose his powers in our world and in the labyrinth, for anyone seen the movie, the words, "You have no power over me," and then he turns into a beautiful barn owl, seems to be indicative that that means he has lost his powers or is losing his powers. He no longer has power over her, so he reverts to the form of an owl. So the idea here that I'm seeing is the Owl King, the Owl Goblin King villain that we have, who is in a perpetual owl form, is losing his power. I'm not going to give you the spoiler there if I'm right or if I'm wrong. Make up your own thing, but that is the fan theory for Jareth, and I kind of carried along into this comic. Now, our heroine, Maria, like I said, she's been a little wimpy. She's been a little like meh. And here's one thing I really hate. And if you've seen my other reviews, you know I hate this. She's going to be given an ex machina. She's going to be given this magic chalk. So Maria is an artist. She has a wonderful imagination. We see that in the first few pages. It's the only characteristic we have of her in the first few pages of volume one. She has the ability to think of mermaids and paint them during a ball and things like that. And she was given this chalk. Yes, it's a parallel to the lipstick that Sarah had, but Sarah's lipstick was not an ex machina. It was lipstick. She just used it to mark her way through the labyrinth so that if she had to turn around, she knew where she had gone. This magic chalk lets Maria go ahead and draw whatever she wants, and then it comes to life. So if she wants a set of stairs that aren't there, she can draw it. She wants a set of a bridge that's not there, she can draw it. She wants a door, she can draw it. This is Harold and the Purple Crayon territory, people, but it's not needed. It's too easy to fall back on that and have still your other fun characters carry the whole entire story. So they're the more interesting parts of this. They're the ones that I am following, that I want to see what happens to. Yeah, sure, I want to see if the baby gets saved. Why not? I want to see if Maria makes it. I always like to have the heroine at least go ahead and defeat somebody if they can. But I want them to have a little bit more oomph. Give me a heroine that can kick some ass. You know what I mean? It doesn't need to be a mutant. It does not need to be Wonder Woman. It doesn't need to be anything like that. It could be somebody who is as plain and human as Maria going through a fantastical thing without giving her something magical so that she can get through it easier. A little too easy to me, but I digress. I know it's difficult to write these things. The pros here are definitely those secondary characters. They are, without a doubt, amazing. We just met Sybil, so I don't know how she'll grow into the next volume, but already Sir Scubin and Tangle have grown a lot, and they've proved to be effective companions. Now, just like the movie, we do have all these other little worlds and twists and turns that I don't want to give spoilers for, but they're part of the adventure, and they are very, very cool. Now, there is still wonderful, wonderful illustrations, wonderful throwbacks to the way Brian Froud helped create the world. You do feel it is familiar. You do feel that you're in a fantasy world. And you know what? I do enjoy it. Now, we do have this owl Goblin King, our main villain. Here's where it differs a lot more from the movie that many of us love. This villain is pure evil, pure menace, pure malice. You can just feel it just dripping and oozing off of him. With the baby that has been wished away, that baby is now in control of the really nice goblin that we see with baby Toby, who's trying to protect him from all the evil minions of the Owl King. And there are a few, and they are terrifying. One looks like a super evil Ludo, probably is pretty much going to be my new sleep paralysis demon at this point. So that is a really interesting characteristic because when we have the labyrinth that we have from 1986, yeah, sure, Jareth is meant to be a villain. He's meant to be evil, but he is the villain in Sarah's mind. So he is only portraying what she feels the villain should be. He's not going to go ahead and kill Toby. He's actually very nice to Toby throughout it. He just does plan on keeping Toby. This Owl King, this Goblin King, plans on doing something more malevolent that I don't want to get into because it would be too spoilery. And I want you guys to have some things to enjoy. But trust me, I did read that. I went, yeah, yeah, kind of hope you're defeated. Did not hope Jareth was defeated. Kind of hope you're defeated. So that was also pretty cool. So a couple of pros there. And again, my main con is just a heroine and that ex machina magic chalk. A little too easy, and I still didn't get a lot of backstory. I still don't have anything to grasp onto with her, to identify with her. So that is a little annoying, but since I have the other side characters to hold on to, it's making it a more of an enjoyable ride than the volume one. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and give volume two a rating of 7.5, and well deserved. I love the character development here. I love the drawings. I love the little twists and turns. I love how it is different yet somehow still so familiar. And in true kind of trilogy fashion, isn't the second one sometimes always a little bit better? You can argue with me on that in the comments, but few of them kind of are. So right there, 7.5. Our first one was a 5.5. We went up to 7.5, and well deserved. Okay, so we're going to go ahead to volume three shortly here, and we're going to see how it also goes ahead and changes with volume three. And I'm going to take the average of all three of my scores to give the series an overall overview. So make sure that you hold out and hang out with me for just a little bit longer. But in case you forgot, I'm Kristen with the Codex Station, and this has been a Codex Review, Part 2 for Labyrinth Coronation. And as always, I hope to see you in the next issue.